The Juggernaut Alex Lexus hitting you with the head crush in association with Geeking Out and Thumb Thrasher Gaming, my brothers. We are the shield of gaming. I'm still working on that. And I bet you Shimon will be like, I don't know him. But in any case, today we are doing, or this evening, we are doing a joint stream with free play mode. And we have Thumb Thrasher Gaming as a guest. And we're going to fire up this intro. Let's get it started. I am the Juggernaut, hitting you with the head crush. Brought to you by Fullscreen.net. They're our partners. Make sure you check them out. Alrighty, we're gonna fire up this intro. Turn on the lights. Intro by Michael Hurdle of michaelhurdle.com. Make sure you check him out for your graphic design needs. So, as I normally do the intros, I am going to join the staff. And
it was going down, Newt.
Oh, what the heck?
Playing some Killer Instinct. Everything's good. I ain't been on one of these in a while.
You're back on the job, brother.
I know, and then we have Alex Lexus just busting in here like the juggernaut he is.
Yeah, this is a joint show, and you know what? Well, like I said on the intro, while I was running that free play mode, New Gaming Order, we're actually co-producing this, so he's doing the recording. We're with you live, so you know I want to thank D Mizzle for taking up the offer, and glad Thumb Thrasher Gaming popped up, and shout out to the Microsoft Store who Geeking Out, Thumb Thrasher Gaming, and New Gaming Order are establishing a good rapport as we go forward. We're trying to do some things. So that's what New Gaming Order and the shield of gaming, as I'm going to start trying to come up with a cool name for the three of us. And then get free play mode in as the manager or something. James E. Cornette style.
so we got topics, yo. We got topics.
Oh, you from the tropics? What?
We all from the tropics, my brother.
All right, but since we're doing this Vegito style, the common topic that New Gaming Order and free play mode we're going to kind of do is pretty much Star Wars Battlefront, the fiasco. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Demizzle lead that particular portion, and then I'll lead, I guess, the Devil May Cry exclusivity mess that's going on. But let's free play mode, you got the floor. What the hell is going on with EA, these loot boxes, which is semi-gambling, and it's just some really bad juju is going on with this. But free play mode, you got the spotlight.
It's more than just EA. It's WB with
DICE. Well, they developed it
with the new what the hell is that game? Shadow of War game. It's the new Need for Speed game. It's just loot boxes in general in this shift from video games as we used to know it to video games as a service, because these companies want to make money long after the game has been released. They want to essentially just maximize their earning potential off of the video game, regardless of how their fan base feels. And it's getting to a point where it's getting frustrating, because recently EA came under so much fire that they actually disabled the loot box system within the games, but they messed up even further by forcing you to grind so hard in order to get like I hate that term.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna get into it, but I think it's a stupid term.
All right.
Back to what I was saying. I think they messed up even further by causing you to grind so hard for unlockables that they calculated it out, and it would take the average player over 2 years, 2 hours a day, to get everything unlocked in Star Wars Battlefront 2 the way it's going right now.
Wow. Now, let me jump in on that. Like Demizo made an excellent point. It's like you're almost penalized for not paying for these loot boxes and to level up. Like there was a video that I was studying earlier where it's just you're at the mercy of like the trickle out system. They have made some adjustments to try to speed it up a little bit, but guess what also shares this trait? Street Fighter 5, because you know you can unlock everything, all the characters and all that, but do you know how many? It's like you have to wait for the missions to pop up to pull up enough fight money to unlock, you know, Abigail or Cammy's new stage, things like that. You know, I know Noop, you might have seen it. Whomever else is playing Street Fighter 5, and good luck unlocking Zeku with just fight money. You know what I mean? Because everything is literally trickled out, and you're almost like, man, I can't wait for this. I'm gonna go pay for a loot box, and it's random. So, like, I believe there was one angle that they were being hit by, where it could have been seen as almost gambling. You know, but giving the floor back to Demizo, your thoughts on that?
It's just ridiculous, man. They're causing gamers to just be like, become so frustrated because not only are you paying like your $60 for the cost of entry, now you're paying sometimes double that just to get all the content in the game, and that's just not right. And to the point, a Hawaiian state senator has brought this up, and he's trying to tackle the issue by making loot boxes not illegal, but have games that feature loot boxes not be able to be sold to people under the age of 21, because as you said, it's a quasi form of gambling. And if that actually went through, that would cause a lot of these companies to rethink their stances in terms of gaming. Because let's be real here, these companies are not losing money when they make these games. These games are costing $60 at retail, which means the retailer is making anywhere between $10 to $15, and then the gaming company itself is making $45 off of that game. So your games like GTA 5, your Shadow of Wars, your Battlefront 2s, like, let's not cry EA and these companies a river, because they're not going broke making these games. They want you to think that, oh, we need download content to stay afloat, like Capcom was trying to tout. You know what I mean? I would just say this, you know, at the end of the day, they're trying to, and Microsoft, I'm going to actually call Phil Spencer out on this. That's the route they want to go. Like becoming more of a service-based gaming platform, and I think that's gonna hurt them. And EA, just Phil, you guys at the Microsoft team and all that, look at what's happening right here. You see this? To my right, your left. You're gonna see a whole lot of backlash with it, you know. But so we're not overtaking it. Not only that, it's like it seems like there's a pay-to-play, no, a pay-to-win incentive with this, because you got people getting high levels if they're willing to pay the money, and that's not fair to the other person who may not have the funds or just refuses to buy the stuff and get blown up. It's almost as if I go to Halo and I buy, like, you know, how can I say, because Halo does have like the whole, you know, requisition system in place.
It only works in a couple of different modes.
Yeah. Now, if this is something where some of those guns, all of those weapons and all that, if I can bring that into Arena, oh, forget about it. It's a wrap, you know. But Thumb Thrasher Gaming, what are your thoughts on what's happening? I didn't call you smart, brother.
All right, can y'all explain to me? Because I've heard about it, I didn't really look into it. What exactly does the loot box do for a player?
Think of it like a random drop. Like you pay it, and then it does just like
what you get in Gears of War.
Yeah, like Halo Gears, like the way that's set up.
See, but instead of like in Halo, there's a difference between how like games like Halo and Gears of War handle loot boxes and games like
Halo, you're not required to buy them. You know what I mean?
There's a difference between like Shadow of War and Battlefront and EA games, how they handle loot boxes. Like Gears of War, Halo, those loot boxes are they're used for non-competitive like modes, like non-ranked modes.
Okay.
And the items mostly are cosmetic.
Yes.
That you can use in ranked modes.
Yeah.
But in the EA games, they are used for content that is already in the game, that if you play the game throughout the normal course of the game, you'll unlock. But you have to play the game so long and grind so much experience, as I said earlier, that it makes unlocking things not fun. Like, people have literally taken to putting rubber bands on their analog sticks, entering games, and then just having their characters run around in circles so they get the EXP just from participating in the game.
That's you know, they gotta fix that.
So basically, you can pay for an advantage in the game.
Yep, pretty much.
Or either I pay for the advantage, or I have to grind 100 times harder than the person who did in order to compete.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, here's my thoughts on that. One that sucks. Now, I disagree with a couple little things that you said. I do feel that some of these companies, not all, maybe not EA. I don't ever try to count anyone's money, but I do know that the cost of making the game does go up as these generations go, because it takes more resources and more technology. So who's to say how much they're really making? And then, like, you know, a few years ago, companies, if they didn't sell a certain amount, we saw a bunch of studios shut down, man.
Oh, what happened? The studio that did Lost Planet 3?
Having worked at GameStop before, used games really are what make retailers a lot of money. Like, retailers really don't make a whole lot off of games. But besides that, I think number one, I feel like this is just me as a gamer, and just from the roots of gaming, all content that game has to offer should be unlockable via play, some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? I hate the fact that, you know, people have to pay for the full experience, like Asura's Wrath.
Yeah.
But having a loot box, having someone being able to pay to have an advantage over another player, I think that's just plain wrong. You know what I'm saying? And then having to have someone say, oh, well, you can have this character or this content or this weapon, but you have to play, you know, it's going to take 2 years worth of gameplay.
2 years? They don't want you to unlock it that way.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Clearly, y'all are trying to put a band-aid over something. You're trying to force people to pay to get the full experience of the game. I think is 110% wrong. And the reason I asked about the loot crates is because I've seen some games do it right, and I've seen some games do it wrong. Like Gears of War, I love the way Gears of War does it, because every time you play, you get money, and then you can use the in-game coinage to buy stuff, secret characters, all kinds of stuff. And even when you don't play the game for a while, you come back and log in, and they still give you stuff.
Yeah, daily login bonuses, like Halo.
Yeah. So my thing is this: EA, if you're gonna do it to where, you know what I'm saying, I think if you're gonna make people grind it out, then at least do a system like Dragon Ball Xenoverse, where my ghost can be in the game where I'm not playing, or like
it's earning for you,
where my ghost is in the game playing and earning me, you know, credits or whatever, even when I'm not online. That way I don't have to spend 1 million hours playing the game. There's a form of me always in the game earning, you know.
Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad idea for what this 2 years. But
here's the funny part. You know, a lot of games I see now that the longevity of a game is basically based on their multiplayer. So if you let someone buy their way to the top, what's the point of them playing the game anymore? Like, once I reach the pinnacle of the game and I know there's no competition, then okay. Now the grind is cool and it's fun to a certain extent. You know, I will use Destiny as an example. Destiny, you definitely have to grind, but it's not to a point to where the game's not fun or you feel like you're never gonna get there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Destiny is I heard that it fell off just like Justice League at the box office. I'm just saying.
Destiny's fun. It's the second one's better than the first one, and they give you a lot more of the good stuff a lot sooner and a lot easier. They fixed a lot of stuff. But yeah, forcing people to play to win, I think is whack. And come on, man. We now to the Mizzle's point, we're paying $65 for the game already. What are we getting? What are we getting for our money? You know, what's gonna make me buy a game? Because I didn't buy it because there's just so much.
I didn't buy Destiny.
It. I bought Destiny because I have friends I play with, and it was really fun back in the day. So, but I don't know, man. This pay to play thing is whack.
Like,
that's no comment. Go ahead.
Here's a version of loot boxes that I think works perfectly, and that's Forza 6 and 7's version of the loot box, because it's not pay to win. It's essentially incentivizing winning or meeting certain goals, and it's like, okay, if you meet a certain goal within the gameplay, we're gonna reward you for meeting this goal, like or we're gonna make the game more challenging for you. So if you meet these goals under these circumstances, we're gonna reward you with in-game currency, which means you can buy whatever quicker. So that's a form of loot boxes that I like. But when you are forcing the player to go through extraordinary means just to unlock things, yeah, you're inflating the longevity of your game, but to what end? Like, how long do you expect the player to play before he or she
give up? Yeah. It's like mild extortion. It's like you know now they're invested in the game. They want to do well in it. They want to progress.
The game has to be fun. It has to be fun. It has to be entertaining. You know what I'm saying? And you know there's just a lot. Like I feel like the average, if you do a game well, your shelf life will go far. You know, your fans will be loyal. Look at Counter-Strike. How old is Counter-Strike and people still play that? That's one of the biggest games.
And the funny thing is not even like a graphic intensive game. Or it's like Day of Defeat. Like, I don't know if you guys played that. But like my battle buddies introduced me to that. And that's where I actually saw, I was at Fort Dix, and that's the first time I ever saw PUBG. And I was just like,
just like Counter-Strike. People are going to play that for ages. Because it's about gaming, man. Like, some people want to win, yeah, but it's like, bro, like, what are you doing? And EA, you know what? Over the years, EA, you've been doing some shady shit. Like, I'm talking back to the PS2. Like, the whole Madden thing was terrible as well. But, I mean, come on, yo. Like, can we get back to gaming? Like, I understand you.
Yeah, I missed the what was the last great era for console gaming was right before the DLC practices became a thing, because when you bought a game, it was complete. You know what I mean? It was complete. Like,
and it was finished too.
That's what complete is.
It really pisses me off when they knowingly release a game and they know the game is fucked up when they release it. I hate that.
Yeah, you know what?
You need a day 3 patch. You need a day. And it's like, you knew this game was doing this, but because you could patch it and you wanted to meet a deadline, no, give me my stuff complete. Like, you don't want to go to a bakery and then you buy a cake and they say, by the way, you got to put it back in the oven for 30 more minutes. I'm like, what?
Yeah, here's the thing with that. You know how we can get the companies to stop that? By stop paying them. Like, yes. Alpha Omega Sin, shout out to him. I haven't seen his show in a while, but he made a very good point. He pulled out his wallet on one of his shows and he's just like, speak with this. Because just like that fake Undertaker or Ted DiBiase, he started waving the money in his face. And he's like, okay, so you gotta hit him where it hurts. And at the end of the day, like, look at what's happening with Capcom. We were at the Microsoft store talking about how Street Fighter 5 is still eclipsed by the performance of Street Fighter 4. You know, even with Street Fighter 4 adding DLC and so on and so forth, but that was after the fact. The what was that, when Super Street Fighter 4 came out and it had like a large roster? That was supposed to be it, you know. But the demand was there. They ended up adding extra characters, but when that final version, Omega mode and whatnot, that was it. You had all the modes, all that stuff, and then bam, you know. Sadly, when you compare that to Street Fighter Alpha 3 on the Dreamcast, the Saturn, and even the PlayStation, you know, you had a full world tour mode. You could customize your characters. Like, your experience was immersive. Like, you were in it. Like, you know, shut up. Even when you look at Castlevania Symphony of the Night, if that game were to have come out today, do you know, like, the Inverted Castle would have been DLC? Richter would have been DLC? Maria would have been DLC? Like, they find some way to nickel and dime you.
And you know what? My thing is this. I'm okay with DLC as long as it's worth my money. Give me some worthwhile content. Like, a prime example for me would be Gears of War. Buying it, if you buy a Gears of War game, part 1 all the way through the end of the series right now, and buy no DLC, you have a complete experience. You have a full story mode, you have multiplayer mode, you have plenty of content to go back, and you have reason to go back and replay it. But if a game makes you feel like you're shortened or you're going to be missing out on a big part of the game because of the DLC,
Asura's Wrath. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going back to that. That was the worst.
You had to pay for for those of you who don't know, to get to the real ending of the game, you had to pay for the DLC.
Yeah, you had to pay to finish the game. And I would say go check out Angry Joe's rant. That was the funniest thing I ever saw.
I got the rant right now too, because you know what's funny? Here's what they do, and it's just proof. This is what y'all like to do. Y'all release the game, put all this DLC out. 6 to 8 months later, oh, here's the Game of the Year edition. Why I couldn't get this first?
The Game of the Day. Okay, a good parallel. The Game of the Year or Definitive Edition. Back in our era, those were the standard editions.
Exactly, all the content. Here you go. Which to me says the game was never done.
Yeah. Or they piece it out. Look at Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Somebody put out some information that Black Panther and Monster Hunter were already done. They're already done. And they got pulled right before the final release to piece them out as a season pass. That is foul. Foul. Go ahead,
here's something on the other end of that spectrum, though. Is we're seeing the rise of complete single-player experiences while not having multiplayer with the latest Wolfenstein games.
I bought that. I haven't played it yet. And Doom.
Doom has a multiplayer in it, but its focus is the single player experience.
Right. I'll always love single player over multiplayer, man, because I feel like if you can make a good single player, then you're doing the right job as a company.
Right. That's what I think gaming needs to get back to. You need to. I can understand the space for multiplayer games, but not every game needs it. And we just need to get back to making solid single-player experiences. Like, this past weekend, I actually sat down and finished Quantum Break, and that's a great game.
That is
you know what? It's a good game story-wise. Control-wise, it needs some tweaking. You know, but... yeah, Quantum Break. I was playing it with the enhancements on my. The game is dope. The game is dope. You know, I don't know what it was. If it was something with Remedy presenting the game that was technically supposed to be Alan Wake, you know, but Microsoft wanted a shooter, and Remedy wasn't feeling that. Now they lost them as a second-party studio. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta just let the companies do their thing. So no more Alan Wake, no more Quantum Break 2, whatever. So thank you, Microsoft. What? Go ahead. What?
Dang, what did Miller just say? Oh, the single player mode. It's guys, and here's the thing. Though, and I hate to say it, but if you're gonna do DLC, and you know, if you have a good single player mode, that helps ease the burden. Because if I feel like, you know what, I got my $65 worth, it's gonna make me buy more of the game if there is DLC. If I feel like, dang, this game is crap, I'm gonna feel like your DLC is crap. Again, I revert back to Gears of War. It is a meathead shooter game. Like I
meathead.
Yeah, dog. Because like you're just blowing stuff up. You're getting cuss words, but I love the story, man. I love it, and I even give credit to Call of Duty. Call of Duty games. I know people who jump straight into multiplayer, but if you go back and play them from Modern Warfare up.
Yeah,
the majority of them have really decent story modes. They may be.
They have like a featured actor in there.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about him.
Well, I'm not gonna. Well, yeah, they got rid of him in the end though. But now you have Josh Amell in World War II, and when
Black Ops 3, you have my guy from my guy from what's his name from SVU.
Oh, I didn't play Black Ops 3. Too many Call of Duties,
man. The story
man.
mode is great and it has co-op. Well,
all right, bet. That's what's up, you know.
And that's another thing. Can we get more co-op story mode, guys, please?
Well, Gears of War actually set like a nice standard to it, you know. You can actually experience it together, you know what I mean?
And guess what, developers? That is another form of multiplayer.
Shotzi. Yes, you know. But I mean, going back to the Star Wars Battlefront thing, you know, that just goes to show you if people don't outrage with this. I mean, did you know that the stock market, Wall Street, were upset that EA and DICE and Disney retracted temporarily these microtransactions? Some of these investors were banking on this, you know. So
and that's the problem. A lot of these companies are like beholden to their investors now, and they're not
Capcom, Konami.
They're not worried about they're not worried about the interest of the gamer primarily. Like,
but why should they though? You know, I'm being devil's advocate. If they see money, they're gonna have the Ted DiBiase laugh. Yeah, everybody got a praise.
The Ted DiBiase laugh.
We saw him at Comic-Con too. But yeah, if they can do it, they will. Demizzle, you know we're in that society. If they can get away with it, they will.
Unfortunately, that's true. But like, we need to get back to a place where the focus of the gamer is the primary focus and not the stockholders. It should never be about
amen.
How can we maximize the money to make other people money. It should be how can we appease these people who we've brought along for this ride, because the more people you appease, the more money you're gonna make.
Yeah, and the less that's right.
You're gonna be.
But Demizzle, you know what the problem is? The investors want a return on their investment right then and there.
You know what the other problem is too is if you look at companies, some of the older companies who've done well, a lot of the leadership,
they're gone.
They're gone. So you got this new guy in who's thinking profit, whatever. You know, like look at, and then my thing is this. Look, and I hate to say it, even though I don't play their console. Look at Nintendo. Mario will always sell 1 billion units. There's no multiplayer, none of that fuddy-duddy stuff. Nintendo sticks to their roots, and they just their crowd follows them, and they make money.
Yeah.
You know, the Wii U was I don't know about that one, but everything else that they did in the Lunchbox GameCube, but everything else that they did worked because they're loyal to their fan base. They know who they are, and they stick with them, and they put out quality products.
And you know what? Yeah, Nintendo definitely makes sure they keep that fan service going, because I used to say, me, Demizzle, I'm pretty sure a lot of us were Nintendo heads, but as we got older, the content didn't mature with us, so we graduated to, like, for me, I graduated to the original PlayStation, and I never thought, my parents hated video games, and one day for Christmas, when I had the Tekken demo disc with Bruce and a couple of characters and freaking Crash Bandicoot on there, I'm like, oh my god, this was like crazy, you know. But like moving from, you know, the content never matured with me, so I left it behind, you know.
Like my thing about Nintendo,
you get tired. I mean, though they're good, I'm tired. Zelda, I love you, but I mean, how many Link games do I want to play? How many Mario? You know, go ahead.
My thing with Nintendo has always been this, like, I've never once said that Nintendo makes bad video games.
No, they make good stuff.
They just don't make video games for me. And a lot of people get that twisted, but I can honestly say I own a Nintendo Switch now.
What?
Dude, like Mario is the Mario game. Mario Odyssey is the Mario game I've been waiting for since Mario 64.
Mm-hmm. How is it in comparison to Mario Galaxy?
Like it's a totally different game. This is the evolution of Mario that I've been waiting for since Mario 64.
Okay. And you know what? I have to admit, when I finally played Mario 64, it wasn't that bad. It was very different. It was very different.
It's hard with that N64 controller.
And the Zelda game is the evolution of Zelda I've been waiting for since Link to the Past.
Yeah, Zelda, if that were to show up on another console, it probably would have microtransactions like Battlefront. But like I can see it like rivaling Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor type stuff. You know what I mean? Like I think that it can be on that epic level.
And this is the model that game companies need to take heed of. They need to focus
don't do EA. Don't do like
EA. They need to focus on making the solid gaming experience. It doesn't matter if your game is multiplayer or single player dominated. As long as you have that solid gaming experience to where your consumer base doesn't feel like they're being nickel and dimed and that they feel like they're getting a full, complete experience, they'll keep coming to you over and over again. Yeah,
they got to know that you care.
Nintendo does have an advantage in that it's one of the older companies, so they've been building a fan base since the freaking 80s. You know what I'm saying? And it's a household name, whereas Microsoft is one of the newest kid on the block, actually, of the three majors. So it's kind of like when the way they started, and then see, Microsoft got away from the way they started. They were known for just being hardcore, the most mature content, crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? And online play is what they were known for. So I think, like the Mizzle said, they need to get back to it, but find your niche, man. You know what I'm saying?
Find your what?
I still want them to stick to their... Shut up. I still want them to stick to their thing of first-party titles. Give me those first-party titles. But go ahead, yo.
But let's not stray too far. I mean, how can EA, DICE, Disney fix the Star Wars Battlefront fiasco? I mean, they did the temporary fix, you know what I mean? But that can't... I doubt that's going to remain forever.
I can tell you, there's 4 things that they need to do.
Okay.
Like, 1, they need to lower the requirement for unlocking things, because you should not be doing extraordinary measures to unlock content that is already in the game. That's just ridiculous.
To add to that,
Street Fighter can take a lesson from that.
Yeah, indeed. And also to caveat what you said, the developers have to put themselves in the place of the gamer. Would they be willing to spend 2 years to unlock everything in the game? I think not.
That's the second thing that they need to do. They need a community manager to act as the go-between between the gamers and the company. They need someone who will be the voice of the gamer on their staff.
Yeah, like, hey, but you know what? Here's the thing. You think anybody would take that role? Look at what happened with Seth Killian and Combo Fiend. Well, mainly Seth Killian. If Capcom messed up, they burned Seth Killian because he was. Yeah, they would go after him like off with his head, just like in Resident Evil 4 when that guy got killed. Like what? Wow.
Yeah, but to continue with that, like the community manager can't be PR centric. Like they have to be straight up. Like if the company gives, like say I'm the community manager, Noop's the company, and you're the gamer. You say, hey, can you relay this to EA? Like I believe that these loot boxes cost too much and we would be better off without them. I take that to EA. Noop goes, Well, the reason we have loot boxes is because we need to maximize our return on investment. Like, I can't come back to you and give you some bullshit answer. Like, I think in order for your community manager not to be crucified, they need to be straight up and give the answer that they would give.
They have to give them the raw.
Right. They have to give them the straight up. No matter how much it may hurt, no matter how bad it may make the company seem. Like, hey, this is what they said. They need to do this in order to maximize their return on investment. So it's a money issue.
But Dave, you know how that is working in the corporate. They're gonna try to dial it down and say, oh, let's not say it like that. We have to be nice and whatever.
I wonder how much it really costs. Like, and I don't know what their projections are, but I think and I don't want to crucify developers all the time. But we're the ones who pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Which is the bad part. But I know you guys got to make your money. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a standard that has to be met. But my thing is this: maybe y'all need to call into account your budget versus what y'all need to get from us extra. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then here's my other thing too. I would greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it if when you start selling those games, how y'all do like the regular edition, the gold edition, then like the platinum, whatever. Give us a true discount on the content. Like, there was a point where we would, like, if you bought it at the beginning, you'd be saving $10 versus buying the game, then buying the content, then buying this. Now, it's pretty much cost the same. You're just buying it up front. So it's like, why should I buy your Ultra Platinum Edition day one when the person who's not going to buy it day one, or if I know you coming out with a Game of the Year edition, where all the content, I just miss out maybe on the first 6 to 8 months or year of that game. What's the point?
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, you know what? Like, the corporate greed is gonna actually hurt the industry one day. Believe me when I tell you.
Hurting it now.
It's hurting now. It's not one day. It's happening now.
No, to a point where it's gonna be like, Rocky putting Drago down on the knee type crippling.
Yo, Alex with these analogies.
Shut up. My dad was a philosopher.
The third thing, though, they need to dial it back with the expectations. They don't need to. Everything doesn't need to be a AAA release from these big companies. Like, they don't need the huge budgets. They don't need to throw every dollar they have at these games in order to, like, go into that mode. We need to make money well after the game is released. Like, dial it back. We understand that 4K gaming is coming, but not every game has to have the latest engine. Not every game has to have the slickest physics engine. Like,
you know what? They're going in there like Ric Flair, bro.
As long as the game is fun, people will play it.
That's what they don't realize. I have so many budget titles from Xbox Live that look like Nintendo games, just with better color. And it's like, I love it to death. Because, and I think they get too caught up in, well, they want graphics. No,
the PlayStation guys are all about graphics.
And
it's everybody. It's Microsoft people. It's PlayStation.
Oh, now they are. Yeah. Now they are.
People, like, they just need to go. Like, hey, make the game fun first. Worry about the graphics second.
Yeah, and you know what I think? That's a good point. Put a good product out and do like a graphic patch later. That's okay. I can, I would say, bring it in at an entry level, like $40 or what the games used to cost. Hey, if you want to make it look better and you got the One X or the PlayStation Pro or beefy PC and they want to charge for it, as long as it's not an arm and a leg, bam, go for it. I'd be on board for something like that.
But seriously, like, while I like looking at graphics, like, graphics will only hold your interest but for so long. If the game's not good, the game's not good.
Exactly. And I always bring it back to one of my favorite games of all time, Dead to Rights Retribution. That game looked terrible, even for a 360 game. It looked bad, but it was so freaking fun. I still go back and play it from time to
time. True that.
One of my favorite games is Breakdown back on the original Xbox.
I remember that game.
And the game is not the most graphically spectacular game, but it's something unique and it's a fun game. At least to me. And that's what matters to me. Like, is the game fun? Because if the game's not fun, I'm not gonna continue to play it.
This is indeed true.
Like, it'll just be sitting on my library somewhere, or if it's on Steam or PC, it would just be sitting in my like list uninstalled, not on my hard drive.
All right. Now, for the sake of time, I do have to shift gears, and this is just something really short. Whether you are for or against this franchise, but Devil May Cry has been in Devil May Cry 5 has been confirmed to be in development for the last 2 years. There have been some leaks, and something that I'm not too happy with, as you can see in the stream. I have the website, what's that, gamersrevolution.com. We already know that there was information of Ruben Langdon and Bosch doing the mocap and voices for Dante and Nero. There's supposedly a new third person, or a third character to be utilized. And the game is supposed to have some sort of trailer at the PlayStation Experience, which scares me, because just like the Soul Calibur rumors, this may be seeing some sort of exclusivity on the PlayStation. That's not good, considering with the One X just having, starting to get its feet wet. They would need a game like this, a third-party game like this. I would like to see some enhancements with a Devil May Cry game. That would be freaking awesome, But as the rumors are circulating, I know Noop is not a big hack and slash guy. I like Devil. Well, I thought you didn't like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta.
I love the last Devil May Cry. You and someone's name who would not be mentioned were hating on that game big time because of the main character.
No, the game was good. The Devil May Cry, the reboot, or its own story. It's just Dante should have just looked like Dante. I had no problem with the story, to be honest with you. I thought it was great.
Ooh, man, I keep saying the gameplay. It's one of the few third-party games I'll put gameplay-wise above Ninja Gaiden.
Over Ninja Gaiden?
Yeah, the gameplay was smoother, dog. The way you
it was smoother than what?
Listen.
And then you're talking Itatagi. Hold on. All right, go ahead. I gotta hear this.
The only reason why was because in DMC you could seamlessly switch weapons and use all of his weapons at once, whereas in Ninja Gaiden you had to pause the game to switch between his weapons.
Well, Black was like that. Ninja Gaiden 2. Yeah, you're right. And well,
that's the only thing. I mean, but I said that's the only game gameplay wise. Now, Ninja Gaiden is still a better game, but gameplay wise, I put that one.
Well, it had the function of on-the-fly switching that Ninja Gaiden should have had. The same thing, Metal Gear Rising should have had that, But
Metal Gear Rising, what?
Well, Bayonetta had it though. You can go between the light and dark styles. Even Lords of Shadow had something to that effect. But I mean, my thing is,
saying though, because I'm ready to rant.
Yeah, but this is Devil May Cry. That's Yeah, originally we know Sony had exclusivity to it in the past. Like Devil May Cry 1, you didn't see it on the Saturn, But now we're in a place where, everybody should have access to games. And this keeps happening over and over. And Microsoft, you guys aren't fighting. It's like, you got this system, the Bugatti Veyron of freaking consoles. And this is potentially not going to hit that system. They're not putting up a fight, man. And that's why this may be my last console generation. And if a game doesn't come out on PC, I won't play it. I'll just play what's available to me. Because this grimy shit where, oh yeah, we're going to dry up the well and make it where if you want this, you have to come to our system. What happened to back in the day where everybody, no matter where you were, look at the sales of Street Fighter. Sucking so bad, and why do you think Street Fighter 4 did so well? Because everybody can get it. You know what I mean? But now it looks like Sony helped with financially with this, Capcom must be in a bad way, because if Sony keeps bankrolling them, they might as well become the new freaking 343 and then just become a second party or first party studio with them. You know what I mean? But I want to give Thumb Thrasher Gaming the floor first, and then DMizzle. But your thoughts, Snoop?
I find it odd. I always find it odd when a series that's traditionally been multi-console goes solo console. And it's like, okay, and here's the other thing. So, this is Devil May Cry 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, that means DMC is dead and they're going back to the original?
Like,
yes.
What's
going on with at this point, my question is, what's going on with the franchise then? So, do we just get one spin-off and now we're going back to Dante's original story?
Yeah, that's confirmed. That is going back to, it picks up after the events of Devil May Cry 4, and I get what?
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's not that hard.
It's not. I just don't have time, man. You know. But,
it's just short. I wouldn't say it's a long game. Like, if you push it, you can finish it in like 2 days.
Actually, I need to go back because I have the trilogy on 360. I want to go back and beat the trilogy, and then because let me tell you guys, if you've not played Devil May Cry, it's one of the best third-person action games you'll get. Ever.
To be honest with you, it kind of set up like the action 3D style like that. Like Ninja Gaiden, Bayonetta, a lot of Metal Gear Rising probably wouldn't be around if it weren't for Devil May Cry in that state.
Metal Gear Rising needs to burn in double hockey.
That game was good. Don't even front, bro. That
when he put that sword between his toes, I was done.
You know, freaking the director of Devil May Cry and Clover Studios, or that team that made Bayonetta and all that, made Devil May. Well, they're calling it Devil May Rising type stuff, but yeah, it's the same team, same feeling and whatnot. So don't be mad.
Okay, I'll get back to the point. I don't like the fact that it's exclusive because, like Alex said, it limits the accessibility to the game. And it goes back to what we were talking about before. Now, you're putting the financial pressure on the company to sell way more units in order to be successful. Because you're shipping it to a limited fan base.
Or, yeah, like somebody who's already established with their ecosystem. Yep. You're going to force them to uproot, get a second console, and pay another yearly subscription for online gaming. Like, that's not fair. That's not fair. And I bet you the folks that make these decisions, they don't care, number one. Number two, would they pay the extra so that people had accessibility to everything? You know, it's turning into Disney and what Disney did with their Marvel content on Netflix. Pulling that out so that, hey, now, in order to see our stuff, you got to go and get the Disney set up. You got to get their streaming service. It's like, that's crass, man. You know, but continue, brother.
Yeah, that's why I only have one console, man. Like you said, it just got to a point to where I'm not spending, let's say, $400 each. So I'm $800 on, and then software I'm spending over $120 a month just to get the latest titles. It's like we lose.
Bro,
we're losing as gamers. We're losing. I mean, look at the Super Nintendo and Sega ages. Like, some games came out, like Mortal Kombat, came out on both, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And some games, they came out on one console, but they both had like an equal amount of their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you hate to see a long-time popular franchise just say, you know what, one console. And I don't know if it's a backdoor money deal or what, but I hate this. If it's not first party, I hate to see that. And then when they're not successful, oh, the gamers aren't supporting us. Well, I would have supported you if you came out on my console.
Street Fighter 5? I'm just saying. But DMizzle, your thoughts?
Like, I'll preface this straight up with saying that I'm not the hugest Devil May Cry fan.
Well,
but I'm also gonna say let's not jump into any pools before the water is fully there, because just because something's being shown at Sony's event doesn't mean it's exclusive to Sony. So I'm gonna wait until there's some official this is exclusive, or this is like Call of Duty, like, oh, we have timed exclusivity over the DLC, so it may be some deal like that. Who knows?
Well, I will send you something on Discord so you can kind of look at the article that's actually in the stream. But you can use that for your production when it pops up. But it's I mean, if Sony had any financial setup with that, they're gonna probably put it under lock and key. You know what I mean? Why would they allow Microsoft to get, hey, we paid you? It's like paying, well, I guess paying an escort to only work with you type stuff. And it probably gave enough money so that they don't have to go and job to somebody. I'm just saying.
See, but this is the thing. Like, Reset Era, I don't know the validity of this site, because before the big gaming industry site used to be NeoGaf, before all that shit happened. But as I said before, like, this person claims that there is a PS4 exclusivity deal in place, and I don't know, because it would be leaving too much money on the table. Like, I think Capcom would have learned its lesson with Street Fighter V by leaving all that money on the table, because let's be real, as much as I like fighting games are not a big thing on PC. So like, having Street Fighter V on PC was not like the biggest of deals, whereas having it on the Xbox platforms and the Nintendo platforms, that would have brought in a lot of players, because you're maximizing your earning potential by having it on as many consoles as possible. I don't think Devil May Cry 5 will be a PlayStation exclusive overall. It may be a timed exclusive, like a 6-month window, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be a 100% Sony platform exclusive.
I hope not. I hope not. And there are also rumors, if Metal Gear Rising 2 is to be a thing, they're talking about that possibly being PlayStation 4 exclusive as well. And I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, how are they allowed to do this? this is
money, man. Money.
Wow.
You know, I'm mad, but I'm not mad, because it's like, you know, if I'm a company, I'm out to crush the competition. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I'm gonna piss off. You always don't. No matter what you do in life, you gonna piss somebody off. Somebody gonna not like what you do. You know what I'm saying? But the question is, you know, what do you want more? Do you want to appease the fans, or do you want to snuff out the competition? And Sony's gonna need it, because the PS4 Pro was a flop, and they're gonna continue to lose money. And they bundled the PS4 Pro with Star Wars, so that didn't help at all.
And all of a sudden, they're not counting console sales, because like November probably was not in the PlayStation 4 Pro's favor in comparison to the One X. But that's gonna die off, because it's the new kid on the block. You know, the Sony's gonna, you know, take over as usual, and we'll see what happens from there. Yeah,
but yeah, it you know, it's we the people. Ding, 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 ding. We the people are gonna lose, man, because it's the almighty dollar, man. We can't win. Win the almighty dollar.
When you got Ted DiBiase as president, man, no comment. Money, 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 money. I gotta put that in the background. But free play mode. Do you have anything in conclusion? Since, you know, for the sake of time, we should wrap up so we don't lose anybody on the YouTube front. But anything in conclusion with both topics?
Like, for the state of gaming moving to a service-based industry and not a consumer-based industry, we need to reel that back for real, because the more we move to a service-based industry where the goal is to make money throughout the life of the game, the more players you're going to lose, because people are not just going to want to keep investing money into a game that's just made to suck them dry. And as far as Devil May Cry is concerned, let's not count the chickens before they're hatched. Let's not jump into any pools without water. Any other analogies that you can think of that would involve going off too soon. Let's just sit back, wait and see, because just because something is revealed at a specific company's platform, like their show, doesn't mean it's an exclusive.
All right. Now, with that, Thumb Thrasher, do you have anything in conclusion before we start wrapping up?
I did, and I forgot what the Mizzle just said that made me want. Yeah, with this whole DLC thing, and I hate to say it, but I gotta play devil's advocate, guys. If you need a specific profit margin, stop basing it on DLC. Y'all have done it before. I would rather, and here, this is just me, I'd rather pay more for the base price of a game. Like, let's say, games are $60 now. We went from 40 to 50 to 60. If it jumps to $70, but I know I'm getting more worthwhile content, I'll do that. Because you're meeting your bottom line, I'm getting my money's worth, it's all good. Because I feel like at this point, a majority of the AAA titles, to get your money's worth, you're literally paying about $90.
Yeah, that hurts.
You're paying $90, and the thing is, a lot of the times we're prepaying for stuff that we don't even have yet. Like, I'm buying a season pass. What if the season sucks?
yeah, you stuck with it. Hey, tag, you're it.
Exactly. So that's just something to think about. Those of you out there in the corporate world, in the gaming world, if y'all are listening to this, please give this some consideration. That's all I got.
All right.
Hero.
I guess in conclusion for myself, I already said my piece on the Star Wars Battlefront thing, but I'm looking at some of the potential spoilers for this Devil May Cry 5. Could this be the end of the Sons of Sparta storyline? What? Interesting. I left this in the background for you guys to kind of read. I didn't want to go through too much, but I'll have a link in the description below. But as we go into intermission, I want to thank Thumb Thrasher Gaming and Free Play Mode. And being that this is a joint venture, make sure you're checking out Free Play Mode on Facebook and the channel that I will provide the link for on the New Gaming Order side of the house. I want to thank Free Play Mode for having us as a guest, and hopefully he thanks us for having him as a guest.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the New Gaming Order podcast.
Awesome. And shout out to Mr. Geeking Out. We had that Microsoft event, and it did a lot of cool things for us. So expect to see some cool setups for December and January. But with that, make sure you rate, comment, subscribe. Check us out on NewGamingorder.com, Geeking Out, Thumb Thrasher Gaming, and Free Play Mode. Alright, so I'm out like the Juggernaut, and I'm going to let Free Play Mode do the final wrap-up.
Yo, this is Dave from the Free Play Mode signing off. Hoping you have a good evening. Thanking Alex, Lexus, and Mr. Newt from Thumb Thrasher Gaming stopping by. Tongue-tied.
Tongue-tied gaming. What?
Peace out, folks. We're going. We're gone.
All right, peace.
Dark.
All right, peace, fellas. Oh, shoot. I didn't hit the off button. My bad.